Yeah. I love my HBCU. And boy, I love it, love it. I love it, love it. I love my HBCU. And man, I hope my team they won. Yeah. I hope my team they won. Yeah. Man, I hope my team they won. I hope my team they won. Yeah. I tune into the HBCU Sports Lab to see if my team won or lost. If they lost, I'm quiet as a mouse. But if they won, keep tab. I'ma do the dab, yeah. Dr. Cavil, he know what he be talking about. Mike and Charles, they know what they be talking about. They compress the analytic data with this hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they won or lost, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gonna teach a lesson.
And welcome into Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. I'm your co-host tonight, Charles Bishop. Dr. Cavil not in. We have visiting adjunct professors coming in tonight from the pregame show. Brother Neely, what's going on, my brother?
Can I complain? Always a pleasure to represent 1400 Lynch Street on Dr. Cavil's Inside the Sports Lab. I got one goal tonight, fellas. One goal only. And my goal is to not be invited back. So don't tell them what's going to happen. Don't tell them what's going to happen tonight. I'm not on my show. I'm on somebody else's show. So you're going to get it. And if I'm successful, you guys will never call me again.
Always the wild card. And of course, from the Sports Wrap, AD Drew, welcome in, bro.
You really expect me to follow that up?
Yeah, exactly.
You really expect a brother to follow that up?
Oh, man.
All I'm going to say is, since I knew I was on this show with two Jackson State folks, I decided to wear my blue hoodie. It doesn't say Jackson State, but I did wear my blue hoodie. And then they go and mess it up by not wearing Jackson State blue on me. So look at me, trying to be forward thinking, and I'm still behind.
Representing the entire HBCU diaspora tonight on Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Didn't want to be the homer tonight, but here we go. Welcome to episode number 236 of Inside the HBCU Sports Lab, radio show and podcast, the show that's covering the sporting HBCU diaspora, all things HBCU sports for institutions large and small, from NAIA to NCAA. We share insights, information on the HBCU sports culture and HBCU athletics, aesthetics to facilitate the story of HBCU athletic programs and the business of HBCU sports. Tonight, I'm your host, Charles Bishop, along with my co-hosts, Neely and AD Drew. Of course, as always, is Mike Washington, Dr. Cavil in, but they're not in tonight. And we are filming from our home studios and sending you a signal live to our KCOH 1230 AM studios with the Texas Radio Hall of Famer, Ralph Hooper, the beautiful home of Texas Southern University here in Houston, Texas. I tell you what, guys, another interesting weekend of HBCU action, HBCU basketball all around the country. We're going to get into it. But, hey, man, you had a fun little off-camera story, man.
I thought we were doing that segment, too.
We got to get into it, man. You tickled me with that one. Tell Neely what you told me, man.
All right. We talked about two things. I'm going to go with number two first. Number two that we talked about was, I was doing the sports wrap this weekend with my partner, Brian Fulford. And I had to ask this question. Can we get a week where Jackson State is not the lead story or something with HBCU sports? Good, bad, or ugly. Ever since like mid-November, Jackson State has been the lead story. If it was going into the SWAC championship game, then it was the Celebration Bowl. Oh, by the way, y'all decided this kid named Travis Hunter took the #1 recruit in the nation, who dropped down to number 8 ever since he signed with Jackson State, which that became the next story that we started talking about, man. And then I mean it goes on and on and on. The SWAC Classic, the Southern Heritage Classic, and if we really want to back it all the way up, let's go back to Coach Prime having his surgery, And while he was having his surgery, then he was interviewing for this job at TCU that he apparently wasn't interviewing for. I mean, God dog. Look, I love me some HBCUs. I love Jackson State. I could deal with y'all 364 days a year. Y'all know the one day a year I'm talking about, that one day in Miami. But my challenge to other HBCUs is, can we get to Jackson State's level? I'm not trying to bring Jackson State down. Jackson State has raised the bar over the last 3 months when it comes to just HBCU dudes. But can another HBCU please be the lead story on the BCSN Sports Wrap and any other HBCU sports show? That was just thing number 2. Wait till we get to number 1 that we talked about.
Well, Chuck, let me take off my Tony Stark's Ediths. Because the one thing I got to say to all that is, I hear you, I understand, but you need to realize that when it comes to Jackson State being talked about, we are inevitable. Look, man, we got the stones, baby. We got all the stones. Like, it is inevitable. It is inevitable. Don't fight it. I know what it's like to lose. It turns the legs to jelly, like Thanos said. But this is inevitable, man. Every week we're going to bring you something. I know y'all was excited about National Signing Day, and it was a hot topic, but we had already done our big splashes. Travis Hunter announced live on TV. Kevin Coleman announced live on TV. So when February 2nd came, we said, you know what? Let's announce we ain't going back to Memphis. Let's give them something. because we have the GOAT.
all the Thanos stones reside in Jackson right now.
And I got to give y'all credit for one more thing. There has not been a Friday news dump yet.
Yeah, there have been some schools that have figured out a way to avoid the limelight with the Friday news dump. So shout out to those schools. You know who you are for getting it in on a Friday news dump, man. And I tell you what, man, a lot of stuff. We're going to get into it, man, covering from CIAA, SIC to SWAC and MEAC and all things in between. But we're going to start off with some news and notes as we normally do every week. And we're going to start off this week with the SWAC with their men's basketball weekly honors for this past week. Player of the week from Jackson State is Terrence Lewis, and the Impact Player of the Week from Alabama State is Juan Reyna. They were SWAC men's basketball weekly honors for their outstanding performance this past week. Let's take a look at Terrence Lewis. Lewis had a spectacular weekend for Jackson State as he averaged 21 points per game, along with 11 rebounds per game and 1 steal. He tallied a double-double with a game-high 28 points and 10 rebounds on Saturday in Jackson State 69-65 win over Mississippi Valley. He followed that performance with another double-double as he contributed 14 points and 12 rebounds during Jackson State's 60-47 win over Arkansas Pine Bluff. Impact Player of the Week was Juan Reyna. He helped Alabama State split on the road against Grambling and Southern, averaging 20 points in both contests. He scored a career-high 25 against Grambling on the road while shooting 7 of 8 from the floor, 4 of 5 from behind the arc, and he was perfect from the free throw line. Followed that up with a 15-point performance against Southern as he connected on 4 of 7 attempts from the floor, including 3 3-pointers. So those are your men's Player of the Week this past week in the SWAC. Any thoughts on that, AD?
I'm glad somebody decided to challenge MJ Randolph for a Player of the Week. MJ Randolph had a big run of multiple Players of the Week. That's really all I could say. I mean, right now he's probably the leading candidate for SWAC Player of the Year, but people have another month to solidify their resume and see if they can challenge MJ Randolph. That's Florida A&M for all y'all Jackson State folks, to see if somebody can challenge him for Player of the Year.
No doubt. What do you have over there on your slate of things, AD?
College baseball got started this past weekend on the lower levels, get started in the next week or so on the Division I level. And there was a little small announcement that came through right here on the Black College Sports Network. announcing the Black College World Series that will be held in Montgomery, Alabama, this May 11th through 15th in Montgomery, Alabama, in Riverwalk Stadium, which is the home of the Montgomery Biscuits, the AA affiliate of the Tampa Bay Rays. Now they've changed their name. I got to make sure I get that right. The Tampa Bay Rays. And this will feature the top teams from NCAA Division II versus the top teams from NAIA in baseball. Those two groups will play in a bracket, and the two winners, the NCAA Division II winner and the NAIA winner, will meet for the championship for what's been dubbed the HBCU Small Schools Championship, i.e. the Black College World Series. You know, it's good when we can crown a champion on the field in a game, be it a single game, be it a series. You know, we've seen the success of the Celebration Bowl. I know it's a sore subject with you guys, but it was the opportunity to play for the championship on the field. And that's what we as sports fans, as HBCU sports fans, want to see. Teams compete and have that chance to win or lose for the ultimate prize.
Sure thing. And that game will be broadcast here on the Black College Sports Network?
Black College Sports Network will be the exclusive broadcaster of that. I believe there are 13 games scheduled for the Black College World Series. Games will be all day. For those who are interested in the Montgomery area, interested in traveling to Montgomery to follow your teams, ticket sales will go on about towards the end of this month. Day passes, tournament passes, you know, everything will be available. And I want y'all to say, just don't think that it's just going to be any team in this tournament. No, you have to qualify. You have to be ranked by Black College Nines, that, you know, SIAC champion. They're the only conference the only HBCU conference at that level. But you've got teams in the Red River Athletic Conference, defending champion Bluefield State. So you're going to have a bunch of teams. You won't see any 10 and 30 teams competing for this Black College World Series championship. And I am honored to be a part of the committee for the Black College World Series. So
that's huge. That's huge. I mean, we got the King of the Bats right around the corner. SWAC today coming out with their preseason all-conference selection. So HBCU baseball right around the corner. In fact, I think some teams actually crunk up this past weekend around the country. So it's going to be huge when you take a look at HBCU baseball going into this upcoming season. Of course, we had that exciting SWAC championship last year with Southern pulling it out at the end over Jackson State. But Jackson State went undefeated in conference, and now you add Bethune-Cookman, you add Florida A&M into an already strong Southwestern Athletic Conference baseball field. So looking forward to this upcoming season.
Man, baseball is going to be great. So
yes, indeed. Well, we're going to take a quick break here. I'll finish the first quarter. We'll come right back on the other side of these commercial breaks with more inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Neely and AD Drew.
Support the Black College Sports Network so we can continue to provide you coverage. Go to myjbn.com/support and be a part of the Black College Sports
Tell everybody
Network.
they can follow their dreams.
That's right, y'all. The Black College Baseball Championship Series is back. The Black College World Series return May 11th through 15th to a place where so much Black history has been made. Montgomery, Alabama, to the home of the Montgomery Biscuits. That's right. Riverwalk Stadium, downtown Montgomery, Alabama. The cries have been heard, and Black College Championships LLC is here to answer the call. No longer will the poll determine our champion, as the top baseball teams from NCAA Division II and NAIA meet on the field for Black College baseball supremacy.
spin class was brutal. Well, you can try using the Buick's massaging seat. Oh, yeah, that's nice.
Can I use Apple CarPlay to put some music on?
Sure, it's wireless.
Pick something we all like. Okay, hold on. What's your Buick's Wi-Fi password?
So,
Yes, we did.
the all-new Buick Envision, an SUV built around you, all of you.
Let's get back to getting ticks instead of watching flicks. Before we can safely get out there, we need the facts on COVID-19 vaccines. Visit getvaccineanswers.org so you can make an informed decision for yourself and for your crew.
Troy, you work here?
I'm never not working. Like Head & Shoulders Scalp Shield technology, up to 100% dandruff protection, even between washes. Never not working. Never not working. Never ever not working. Head & Shoulders Scalp Shield, never not working.
Press the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
And welcome back in to Dr. Bill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Charles Bishop calls tonight with my man Neely and AD Drew. And I tell you what, we talked about the ping of the bats, guys. Neely, a friend of ours, Coach Earl Sanders, and his Tougaloo baseball team, they were in action this past weekend.
Yeah. Earl Sanders played baseball in the Jackson State first-round draft pick to the Toronto Blue Jays, and he's coaching HBCU baseball at neighboring sister HBCU here in Jackson, Tougaloo College, and they had a successful outing against Xavier. So, you talk about those smaller colleges in baseball to watch, and HBCU supporting that. Keep an eye on Tougaloo. Earl Sanders is always doing it the right way, building the program like from within the culture, recruiting kids here in Mississippi that are academic kids as well as athletic kids. So I would keep an eye out for Tougaloo baseball. They always have some challenges because they don't mind sticking their face in the fan and going against tougher competition. But even when they play quote unquote cross-time rival and come over to Bob Bradley Field and play Jackson State, it's always, a great game and a great time, and those guys are hungry. So keep an eye out for Earl Sanders and Tougaloo College Bulldogs in baseball.
No doubt, program on the rise, those Tougaloo Bulldogs over there. Well, switching gears, guys, and AD, you and I, we were talking a little bit about this. What do HBCU fans want, especially as it relates to Jackson State? I think that was one of the things that we kind of talked a little bit about in terms of some of the things going on and around the stratosphere that is Jackson State athletics. But interesting point you made, man. And I want you to talk a little bit about that, because that was a really interesting combo to get into and bring Neely in on.
Yeah, and it not just Jackson State, but around football in general. Jackson State just happens to be the epitome of what I was talking about. Number one, everybody always say they don't want us to go out and play all these P5 schools in these quote unquote check games because you get beat up and it hurts you throughout the rest of the season. But when you don't play those check games, you lose revenue. So you get teams and schools like Jackson State, like what Florida A&M has done, instead of playing check games, they decide to create their own classics and things like that, such as the Florida Classic and now the SWAC Classic, which Jackson State has decided to partake in. Why did they do that? So they can generate money. So now we get mad because somebody that took this home game from us and we going to play over here at a neutral site, but we make it 3 times as much money going to playing at that neutral site than we would if we played that game at home. What don't you do that? What don't you do that at? What kind of business is that you don't go play somewhere where you can go make more money? That's what this thing is all about. It's a business. So when you do that, and this is the Jackson State one to the T, and you realize that you've been getting screwed on this other contract. So you decide, oh, the heck with it, screw it. We gonna get out this contract and let the chips fall where they may, so that we can go do something else and go make more money. And then people are getting upset. Then they talk about, why don't you go play the Montana States, the North Dakota States, and all these other FCS schools? Why don't we go play them? Number one, they won't play us in a home and home. They always want us to travel to them. So we don't have the opportunity to go. And even still, if Montana State were to come to Memorial Stadium would look like Tennessee State playing in Nissan Stadium with 2,500 people up in there watching doggone Montana State and North Dakota State, because that's not the game that our fans want to see. And my final point is, let me get my final point out and then say it. And my final point is, when we as HBCUs try to help out our fellow HBCUs by playing the Division IIs to allow them to the opportunity to make some money, just like we used to play those Power 5 schools so that we can make some money, then everybody talk about you got all these doggone cupcakes on your schedule. Now, I'm not saying go out and schedule 3 cupcakes and everything. I'm not saying do what Southern did and go put Florida Memorial and Virginia Lynchburg on your schedule. No, I'm not saying that, but why not share the wealth a little bit? If you're making money, why not share the wealth and give some of these smaller schools the opportunity? We saw what the model did for Florida A&M, as they were able, despite the loss to Jackson State, they were still able to qualify for the playoffs because of that model. Yeah, we played our Division II, but we played good competition. I'm off my soapbox, fans, but HBCU fans, please tell us what you want, because no matter what our institutions do, we are not happy.
Neely, we laugh about it a lot. Our HBCU fan base, they wax and wane. But out of curiosity, man, what are your thoughts in terms of our fan bases, our various fan bases, and what actually do they want? Because it doesn't seem like you can get it right, whether you're scheduling, whether you're doing classic, whatever it is that you kind of are doing to maximize money, which is the name of the game. But what are your thoughts, man?
I'll pick it up where AD left off, because I think he made some great points there. But here's where I differ as far as what we're trying to accomplish. If we are trying to get people not to complain, that's never going to happen. So I don't think the HBCU ADs, athletic directors, promoters that get together, cities who make bids for these games, if your goal is to get people to not complain, I mean, Moses couldn't do it. They complain full walk, so don't worry about that part. I think what our HBCU leadership is doing with our athletic directors is they're keeping first things first. And that priority is the student athlete and the safety, health, and wellness and growth of the city of the student athlete. That's why you see, as AD mentioned, a decrease in those money games, because it is not in their well-being to do so. ADs also, AD not as an AD Drew, but athletic director ADs also have a fiduciary responsibility to the budget. And so if the HBCU community, students, alums, whatever, are not going to donate in a mass that makes up for a vacuum of not having a money game, then we have to find other models to make that money. And some people look at home games selfishly, because you don't think you should have to travel, because you don't want to drive somewhere. You're not looking at what's in the best interest of the program. So as AD articulated very well, staying at home may net you $250,000, but going to a neighboring state playing in a quote unquote neutral site nets you $500,000. That's a $250,000 windfall to the budget. Well, people say, yeah, but the other city benefits. Hey, competition benefits the consumer. If you are in a local government and you want one of these games so you can secure the tax base, get in where you fit in, shoot your shot. These games are going to be available to the highest bidder. And I would say this to these municipalities, that if your tax base is going to swoon because of these games, make sure you're giving some of those dollars back to the HBCUs. Because at the end of the day, if a HBCU in a particular city is not getting a bonus from the increased hotel revenues in the tax base, why would they care if that hotel is filled or not? They have to care about the dollars that come directly to them. Until you're going to carve out indirect dollars and make sure HBCUs participate in that, then the motivation is going to be, give me, where can I get mine at? And I'll make it a little example, Chuck, right here in Jackson. The city of Jackson, the Convention and Visitors Bureau, they announced last year that because of Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, and everything that took place, there was a $30 million increase during football season in tax revenue. Man, you'll go to a restaurant and tip a bad waitress 10%. So why not take 10% out that tax roll and give it to the person that helped you get it so they can get you more of it? Or you're going to see these chances where games can move to other sites. They're going to move because, again, athletic directors, what's in the best interest of my student athletes, their health, their wellness, their growth, their competitive nature, what's in the best interest of the bottom line. And AD, you nailed it, man. That's what's going to happen. This is a business. This business has expenses. And at some point, the revenue side and the expense side either got to match or the revenue's got to be greater, or else you're losing money. And nobody can stay in business long losing money. So I like what's taking place on this landscape. I applaud what Birmingham did. And to clarify, no one took a game from Jackson. These were games that were not going to be played because we now have true divisions in the SWAC. So you got to play your division games, your Eastern Conference for Jackson State. Then you get to pick one person from the West that's your annual perennial. That's what we're going to play every time, and that's all corn. The other two games rotate. So the two games that you see going to Birmingham will replace Southern from Baton Rouge. Those are in the 2 years that we weren't going to play each other at all. That's a double win. So if somebody after that next cycle comes through, which would be 4 years after that second game, hey, New Orleans, Houston, Memphis, shoot your shot, put a bid in. We're going to go where they're paying, period.
Is it a matter of our HBC fan base is not understanding or are our athletic administrators doing enough to put the information out in front of them so there isn't this knee-jerk reaction?
I think that's twofold, Chuck, but I still go back to what I said before. Some people ain't gonna be happy. Like some people, job is to do y'all both got gray in your hair like me. Y'all remember the Muppet Show, the two guys up in the balcony? They come every damn night, but all they do is complain the whole show. We have a lot of fans in the HBCU space that that's their role. They're the two guys in the balcony at the Muppet Show, and all they do is shoot shots. So yes, athletic directors, sports information directors could do and need to double down their effort to articulate messages on why something is happening. Fans need to read a little bit more. My grandmama told me, you want to hide it from us, put it in the book. Whether that's your money, tuck it in the book, or just put it in writing. We ain't even read nothing. So at the end of the day, we still run into that gulf, that diaspora of people who just, I want to complain because I'm selfish. You hear it in our space, Chuck, amongst our fans, because we came up in the era where there were night games.
Yeah.
Oh, I wish we had night games again. Well, one thing we have to examine, one of the reasons we had night games is that the Power 5 schools, Mississippi State, Ole Miss, USM, the white boys, if you will, they played at Memorial Stadium in the day. They took the day game and we were to the night game. And what was something that you became fond of because it happening, the reason it happened no longer exists. What's in the best interest of the student athletes? What's in the best interest of their families, their coaching staff? And what's in the best interest of TV revenue or day games? But you got fans, we ain't got one night game on the schedule. And we shouldn't have one night game on the schedule. The bulk of college football that's on TV is on TV from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Like, we got to go where the money is. You only see one night game on ABC, and then you have that West Coast game that's a night game on the East Coast. But it ain't a night game on the West Coast. It's still daytime when they playing. It's just night where you watch it. College football is a daytime sport. We have to go where the money is and make decisions based on the business aspect of this. Do you want to sell a product that you can get a national TV audience and get greater exposure, or you just want to do what's historically comfortable to your fan base? I say hats off to these ADs who are shaking up the system, who are saying, we can't just continue to do this because we've done it for 20 years. We got to start doing it the right way.
Man, that's a great point and
that's deep, man.
Right there at the break, man. Perfect timing, man. We will finish this conversation a little bit more on the other side of this commercial break. It's Bishop, Neely, AD Drew here on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. We'll be right back.
Your ad could be ran here. MyJBN.com/support. MyJBN.com/support for more information.
From novice to aficionado, find yourself here. High quality cigars plus personal customer service. Slow Burn is Waco's only mobile cigar lounge, featuring a meticulous, curated collection of premium cigars. Visit our website, www.slowburnwaco.com. That's www.slowburnwaco.com.
Itchy, squirmy, scratchy, family not getting clean? Get Charmin Ultra Strong. Go get 'em. It just cleans better. With a diamond weave texture, your family can use less while still getting clean.
Goodbye, itchy squirm.
Hello, cream bottom.
We all go. Why not enjoy the go with Charmin?
That's right, y'all. The Black College Baseball Championship Series is back. The Black College World Series return May 11th through 15th to a place where so much black history has been made. Montgomery, Alabama, to the home of the Montgomery Biscuit. That's right. Riverwalk Stadium, downtown Montgomery, Alabama. The cries have been heard, and Black College Championships LLC is here to answer the call. No longer will the poll determine our champion, as the top baseball teams from NCAA Division II and NAIA be on the field for Black College baseball supremacy.
It's like a loot machine. All around town, people trying to get down.
Press the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
And welcome back to Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Bishop Neely, AD Drew.
Despite what the names say.
The professors tonight. Fascinating discussion on our HBCU fan behavior in terms of what is it that we actually want with regards to scheduling or making money. Are we playing for pride? Trying to play some of these other teams that are not within the HBCU stratosphere. AD Drew, you were listening to Neely, man. What were your thoughts in regards to what he was saying?
What we have to realize is, as fans, we cheer for the name on the front of that uniform, be it Jackson State, be it Tuskegee, be it Florida A&M, whatever school it is. But we cheer for that name on the front, not realizing what it takes to have that name printed on the front of that jersey. Kind of like what Neely was talking about. And then it's kind of almost like sausage. You don't know what goes into sausage, but you know when you eat it, it's sure good. We don't know what goes into that football team or that basketball team, that athletic program. But what we see it, we know we sure love to watch it. But the problem is, do you want the 99-cent sausage? Or do you want that premium brand sausage? And too often, we as HBCU sports fans are not willing to pay for that premium sausage. So what do? You get the 99-cent pack of sausage. If you understand where I'm going with that analogy, you know. So that's where a lot of this comes from. We don't support that premium brand of sausage. We support Oscar Mayer. And
what does that premium brand? What does that premium brand sausage look like? Because HBCU fan, I would say, hey, I bought tickets to the game. What's the issue?
You bought tickets. First of all, did you buy tickets to the game, or did your boy let you into the game? Let's start off with the basis, because we all been around HBCUs long enough to know there's a hookup somewhere. Did you pay for parking, or did you park at somebody's house? If you parked at somebody's house, did your university get that money for that $20 for that parking? Or did you actually come on campus and pay the $20 for the parking? Did you do like Big Mama? Hold on. Did you do like Big Mama? Going to the movies back in the day had a purse with the snacks in it, or did you go to the concession stand?
So Neely, what does the premium brand of sausage look like?
Chuck, tried to tell you. I started the show off. I said my goal tonight, if I had a goal, was for y'all to not call me back. Hey, now you ask the question. So Chuck, the only thing I have to do right here is this. See this, Chuck?
Yeah. Take gloves off. All right.
Now you're in my wheelhouse. We as HBCU fans have to stop immediately expecting something for nothing. We also have to stop overvaluing the something that we do put in. AD, wonderful points about ticket sales, parking, and concessions. But let's drill down a little deeper in that. When you buy a ticket, all I owe you as a HBCU is the ticket. You can't buy season tickets and consider that a donation or support. That is an exchange of goods and services. You are getting something for what you paid for. You buy a ticket, you get the ticket, you attend the game. We have to stop buying $100 worth of tickets and then demanding $1,000 in tribute to come back. That's putting the school $900 down. Well, I would buy a ticket, but they ain't have Rick James performing. Come on, man. This is a football game. It's parking. Like this is a business, and a business model has to have controlled expenses in this exchange of services. I understand that, yes, it is a form of support because you could be doing something else that Saturday afternoon. But that is not how you grow a university, just in exchanging the goods and services. At some point, you got to dig a little deeper, and you got to put something on top of just that. You don't go to the bookstore and buy one shirt and be like, hey, man, I support y'all. Give me 2 free.
Wait, hold up. You actually go to the bookstore to buy your clothes, bro? I thought you got it from Joe down at the corner in the grocery store parking lot and gave him the $20 instead of giving it to the bookstore.
God bless Joe down in the parking lot, but Joe don't go to university. The school never sees that revenue. We have to do a better management job of our fans and our decisions. And I say this even in local governments. If the streets in your town, wherever you may be watching this from, need paving, stop driving to the next town and buying stuff, because streets are paved off tax sales, tax revenue. So if you continue to shop in the suburbs, of course, these streets don't look better. So if you continue to go on fancy websites and order your favorite Alabama, University of Alabama, or LSU shirt, but when it comes to the HBC, you want to buy from Corner Man, you're the reason Alabama and LSU look the way they look, but the HBCUs don't look any better because you're not doing anything to increase revenue, increase business. At best, you're just doing the exchange of services. You buy the ticket, and then you know us. We don't like buying season tickets. Well, I don't know if I want to go to that game in October. It might be raining that day. Buy the season ticket pack anyway. If you really want to give to your university, buy a season ticket pack and get a ticket to somebody if you live out of town. Support the school that way. But stop making a donation and then wanting something in return from the donation that exceeds the value of the donation. You can't go to a fundraiser dinner that costs $100 a plate and you mad because you didn't get 4 pieces of steak. Well, you would have exceeded the cost of the funds. Like we would have lost money on the deal. So we got to flip this narrative and understand what it takes to grow a university, what it takes to harness revenue. And AD, I'll say, like you talked about the hookup. We can go to the flip side internally. The HBCU system has to do a better job of managing what it has. Because you do have people that give, you do have people that buy season tickets, you do have people that pay for parking the right way, and they buy clothing, merchandise the right way. We got to make sure that the people who are managing these systems understand it's not their little fiefdom. This is not the Wild Wild West. This is not, back in the feudal system in old England. That ain't your money. That is the family's money. You have to be a good steward over that. So we got a lot of things to clean up and work out. But I think we're headed in the right direction. We have ADs now who are not athletic directors based on popularity. They're athletic directors because of acumen and business sense and negotiating skills. So I think that the whole system of HBCUs is coming up. The challenge is the H in HBCU means historically, and we are still directly attached to some things that just because we've always done it that way doesn't mean we need to keep doing it that way. It's 2022. It's not 1972.
So $1 million question: are we in the dawn of a renaissance, if you will, from a business acumen standpoint? Are we starting to see things, the mindset change with regards to the fan behavior going forward? Are we starting to understand this is how it actually works?
I think you're starting to get that renaissance, Chuck, but I think that renaissance is starting internally with the athletic directors and the acumen that is raised there. The three of us came up in the era that if you played ball at the university, graduated from university, and lived in the town, that's what qualified you to be AD. There was no academic part to it or contract negotiation part to it or understanding TV revenue and now social media and streaming rights and all those things. So I think because you're seeing a renaissance in what it takes to be an athletic director, that is leading to a more informed fan base. But the rub, the friction is that means change, and it means systemic change. One of my favorite quotes is by Henry Ford. And he said, if I would have asked the people what they wanted, they would have said a faster horse. Sometimes you're building something that people don't understand. They don't have the vision. You have to try to articulate that vision, but you still have to build it while you're articulating it. And so you see things like the resurgence, the renewal of the Orange Blossom Classic between Professor AD Drew and our schools in Miami. That's because of a raising back up of the intellect of athletic directors and the business acumen of promoters. When you see what's happening in Birmingham with two games that would not have taken place now going to take place in Birmingham, that's because you have a commissioner and the renaissance of hey, let's do some things deeper in scope in the ADs from those two schools. And even when you see Jackson State pulling out of a deal in Memphis, something they've been a part of for 2 decades, well, it ain't never too soon to get out of a bad relationship. Just because you've been there 20 years, you can't, I'm going to do one more. I'm going to do 4 more. No, when the light bulb goes off, the room is lit. Let's go do something differently. So I think that's a testament, Chuck, to this renaissance you speak of. But it's going to agitate some people who are very directly tied to that historical nature of, well, we've always done it this way. We're growing too fast. They're trying to change stuff. Don't change it. Let's do it this way. It's a dawning of a new era in HBCU sports, but particularly how athletic directors manage these institutions.
Man, great way to put a period on that. AD, quickly.
Just because we're historically Black does not mean we have to run things historically. Things change, times change, people change. Hey, and we'll go to break on this. You remember when we did research papers when we were coming up through schools, because we're all in the same generation, we had to go to the library, go to the card catalog, use the Dewey Decimal System, and start doing our research. Now we just Google it and do it. Is the paper, the result, the paper the same as it was back when we were doing it using the Dewey Decimal System? Yes, it is. It's just the way that we get our information to do the paper has been modernized. That's what we have to do. It's still a football game, still 60 minutes, still 11 on 11. We just have to change the way that we present the product. It's no longer on the Selectric typewriter. It's on our computer now.
There it is. There it is. Man, you brothers killing it, man. Let's go to the fourth quarter. Let's come back after this break.
Close up.
On the camera at. There it is.
Thank you guys for what you do for HBCU athletics. This is a fantastic avenue for all of us. This is our ESPN, so we love what you guys do. Brian, AD, Roy, all you guys at BCSN. We really appreciate what it is that you guys do for us.
You see, Head & Shoulders has scalp shield technology, protects against flakes, even between washes. It's never not working.
Kind of like us. Number 15?
Never not working!
I don't like this one.
Me neither.
Let's get out of here.
Head & Shoulders scalp shield, never not working.
That's right, y'all. The Black College Baseball Championship Series is back. The Black College World Series return May 11th through 15th to a place where so much black history has been made. Montgomery, Alabama, to the home of the Montgomery Biscuit. That's right. Riverwalk Stadium, downtown Montgomery, Alabama. The cries have been heard, and Black College Championships LLC is here to answer the call. No longer will the poll determine our champion, as the top baseball teams from NCAA Division II and NAIA meet on the field for Black College baseball supremacy.
The analytic data with the hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
Hey, welcome back to Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab as we start the fourth quarter here with Neely and AD Drew. Shout out to the lab rats out there, Chuck Hunt, I see you, Willie Alex Hines, Karen Griffin, Santoria Black, man, great job this past weekend on the game on NBA TV. You and Tyler Carter did a tremendous job bringing that to all of our HBCU fans. John Jenkins, I see you out there. Great conversation tonight, guys, in terms of looking at HBCU fan behavior and where we are in terms of just moving forward. Are we on the cusp of a renaissance? How does the mindset change? It's been a fascinating discussion, and glad you guys were able to kind of lead us through that a little bit.
Yeah, Chuck, I'm going to have to get my shades back on because I told you sometimes I don't know what the damn camera is, and I feel like the girl video with Lionel Richie just, hello, is it me you're looking for? I don't know what the hell I'm supposed to be looking, Chuck, so when I do this, you looking half crazy right here. So.
You cover things up. Good job. Man, let's take a look at these. We're a little bit beyond the halfway point, looking at the window side of the ball, especially here in the SWAC. Jackson State on top of things, 11-0 in conference play, followed behind by Alabama State, Alabama A&M, Florida A&M. Southern Jaguars, they are 8-3, Grambling 7-4. But just kind of give me thoughts on how the SWAC women's side of the ball has looked thus far.
Man, it's the dominance of Jackson State women, are not only undefeated. I think the manner in which they're undefeated says a lot about Coach Tamika Reed and the team she's been able to recruit and the depth of that team. But SWAC basketball has 3 seasons. non-conference, conference play in the tournament. Anything can happen in the tournament. But Jackson State Lady Tigers, man, at this point are really poised to go undefeated in the regular season. If nothing else, win a regular season championship before going to the conference. The tournament, because they are doing it, Chuck. They're winning by double digits every time.
No doubt. AD, you follow things tremendously over there on the NAIA side of the ball, SIAC, CIAA. Talk to us about what's going on over there.
Man, sticking to the women's side, Savannah, Tuskegee, Benedict in the SIAC. Wow, you're talking about three great women's teams. Savannah, 2 losses. Savannah, 1 loss. Tuskegee, 2 losses. The only team that has beaten both of them is Benedict, who has more losses than both of them, but they're the only team who has beaten both Tuskegee and Savannah. It's going to make for an interesting SIAC tournament. Oh, and speaking of those three, a week from yesterday, Benedict, Savannah in Savannah.
That's going to be a big one.
You think that's bad? Savannah turns around then Saturday and plays Tuskegee. So if Savannah still has 1 loss in 2 weeks, they will have earned it because they're going to get their biggest test after a tune-up game against Allen this upcoming Saturday. They better get it right because I was at the Savannah Albany State game last night, and Savannah held on, but they made a lot of mistakes that let Albany State hang around. They won't be able to do that against a Benedict or a Tuskegee.
Man, let's flip the page over there to the men's side of the ball. We'll start off in the MEAC, and I tell you what, it's been topsy-turvy, if you will, over there in the MEAC, but as always, you can expect Norfolk State to be right there at the top of things over there. Norfolk State 6-1 thus far, conference play. North Carolina Central, huge, right behind them, 4-2 in conference play. The game and a half back, Conference State right behind them. And then over there in the SWAC, Southern Jaguars have gotten it done thus far in conference play. When you take a look at what they've been able to do, and AD, shout out to the Florida A&M Rattlers. Huge win the other night over Prairie View. Last second 3-pointer. You mentioned his name earlier. MJ Randolph has been everything as advertised. What are your thoughts thus far on the SWAC side?
Look who just snuck into the tournament bid if the tournament was to be held today. Coming into this weekend, Jackson State was on the outside looking in. Now Jackson State is sitting in the number 7 spot. I've said this, and I'm still going to believe this. I think Prairie View is going to sneak their way in. You may do better in the SWAC tournament being on that 3-6 line than you will be on that 1 or that 2 spot, because some of these potential matchups, the way things may play out, you may have Jackson State and Prairie View in that 7 and 8 slot. Is that really your reward if you're Southern or Texas Southern and things play out like they do, to have to play those 2 teams in the first round? Some of this is due to COVID forfeit. Some of this is just due to teams really not having their full squad due to COVID and other things. So my opinion, whoever is going to be on that 3-6 line is the team that you need to look for to win the SWAC tournament in a month.
Shout out to the Alcorn State Braves. They've had a tremendous first half of the season in conference play, 8-3 thus far. But when we start count forecasting a little bit, we know there are certain teams, they turn it up to 12 by the time they get to the SWAC tournament, and namely Texas Southern Tigers, and we've seen that lately from Prairie View and Panthers. Are there teams that can actually knock off either or? Let's assume Prairie View gets into the tournament. For some reason, Texas Southern, Prairie View, they turn it to 12 once we get in the tournament. Are there teams out there that could be sleepers?
I think AD was spot on about that 3-6 line. And one thing I'll say about Jackson State men's program, we are no doubt about it, not where we would want to be, approaching the midway part of February, excuse me. But we all know that if you turn it on in February and peak in March, you got a chance at that tournament. And here's the thing about the Tigers of Jackson State. They have a record where they've lost games, but they have not played a team that they can't beat. It's always just been some circumstantial nuances to it. So that's why I'm kind of agreeing with where AD is going as we get into late February, that first week of March, going into those tournament seeds, because it even with Jackson State just getting finally 2 consecutive wins this past weekend, and got FAMU and Bethune-Cookman coming in for Valentine's weekend and Valentine's Day, that they're by no means out of it, because even the games they lost, you got a 1-point loss and a 6-point loss, and you got a game where J-Mac didn't play the whole time because of foul trouble. You got so many nuances to it that really this tournament can be wide open. You came into the season thinking this was Texas Southern thing, and then it became a Southern thing. But those 2 teams are also beatable by anybody in the SWAC.
No doubt, man. I tell you what, guys, you guys have brought it hard and heavy today. Tremendous discussion of HBCU fan behavior. We got into a little bit with basketball. Neely, you and I, man, we will come back at you this weekend with the pregame show, previewing Jackson State women's and Jackson State men's basketball. AD, talk a little bit about what you guys are going to do over there.
We've got Savannah versus Allen this weekend on Saturday, and like we said, Savannah versus Benedict. Of course, those are men and women doubleheaders as we traditionally play in HBCU basketball. And then a week from Saturday, we will actually be doing the Stillman basketball homecoming there in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, right here on the Black College Sports Network. So a little bit of a different flavor for some of our sports fans who follow the Black College Sports Network. And let's give these small schools some love. Everybody focuses on the MEAC and the SWAC, but I will tell you, especially on the NAIA level, it's some brothers and sisters on that NAIA level who play ball at that Division I level or better, because a lot of these are Division I transfers who have fell victim to circumstances and wind up at NAIA schools. Just because they're NAIA and they're quote unquote small schools, that is not small time basketball though.
No doubt about it. Well said. And
I want to go out on the limb here, and on behalf of the pregame show, because we have the new addition, Johnny Gills of the SWAC, coming in for the first time to the AAC in Jackson this weekend. On behalf of the pregame show, I want to invite the ONG Strike Zone to join us for a little segment Saturday before the women tip off. Now, what we did to the women, Lady Rattlers and FAMU, I understand, AD, you and Brian don't want to accept that invitation. I wouldn't blame you. But you guys are welcome to, just join us for a quick segment Saturday, man. We do a live show before the Lady Tigers tip off, and just so happen to have your FAMU Rattlers coming to Jackson.
Look, we got our hours on the SWAC yard. We got that first set of classes in. We got those first grades in on the SWAC yard. I just want to say this: we are no longer freshmen in the SWAC. We are pre-sophomores. Just keep that in mind. We are pre-sophomores, and we are going to. Hey, I just need y'all to do one thing. Nobody's done this. Jackson State gonna be the team to find a way to hold MJ under 20.
Our defense has held teams under their season average of scoring, but our problem has been our own scoring. So I don't go on the limb and say that one way or the other. We got to find a way to score 60 points on the men's side. And sometimes that guy is allowed to be that guy and we shut down the other 4. But it'll be an interesting weekend because, man, like we've been saying on the pregame show all December and January long, February is here. It is time for the Tigers, the men, to play ball or not. And so it's going to be an interesting game this weekend.
There it is. Neely, we have some tremendous segments coming up. We sat down with Coach Prime. Be sure to like, share, subscribe.
Man, great job on that, man. Great job. I've seen some of those segments, man. Shout out. I'm assuming Alexis was behind the camera producing a lot of those things.
Yes,
so
indeed.
Shout out to Alexis Neely. I mean, look, y'all. If I don't know who out there has been watching that, but all those segments, and I'll say it for you, Neely, because you don't need to brag on your own child. But those people who've been out there watching those snippets and segments and those shorts that the pregame show has been put on, that is when they say it's a family thing, it's a family thing. That is that love that a man's daughter has for him, making sure that she puts a good product out to represent her dad, and she has done that for you, man. So tell her I said great job. I love watching those. It gives me something to do when I'm in school and I'm waiting on these kids to come from wherever they are while I'm teaching.
Yes, indeed, man. I tell you what, it's been a labor of love, man. You guys, tremendous show tonight. Really appreciate you visiting professors into the lab tonight here on Dr.
Great job hosting, man.
Appreciate you.
Moving over to the big chair.
I got one thing, Chuck. I got to hear it. I got to hear you say Professor Neely.
Professor Neely, man. Way to come in, brother. Man, thank you for listening to Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Make sure to share our podcast with your friends and colleagues. Be sure to catch us on Thursday. And you know how we go out, man. Neely.
Of course.
AD.
Lecture.
Dismissed. We'll see you guys on Thursday.
We'll holler.